We have one person signed up to give comment from the public, Pat Johnson. If you'll come on up to the microphone. I believe you'll be...
I'm a little hard of hearing, folks, so...
Okay, well, you'll have about 3 minutes to
that's how it is when we
present.
get older, I guess.
Well, thank you for coming, and I think a buzzer will go off whenever your time is up, but you can finish your whatever sentence or whatever idea that you have. We'll be a little bit lenient with that.
Folks, my name's Pat Johnson. I'm president of Texas Towing Compliance. We're the statewide victims organization for victims of illegal towing across the state. I've got a complaint filed with the police monitor's office in reference to corruption within our agency. I spoke with Margot earlier, and I've been in contact. Of course, I worked with APD for the last 25, 30 years in various roles, providing information on cases, working traffic accident scenes, you name it. And we've got a problem where our citizens are getting victimized daily because our police department will not uphold the law. And the reason I filed this complaint was because Commander Fortune over the Highway Enforcement Command encouraged me to file it because the process is broken. When you have detectives in the record unit told by their chain of command not to enforce certain aspects of the law, that's corruption. And then over the last couple of years, of course, Margot said, you know, my complaint's kind of broad, but this has taken place over a course of 15 years where police officers accepted bribes from Bobby New, the president of Southside Record, going out soliciting accident scenes when they're supposed to put it out on rotation. We got police officers taking fishing trips out of Corpus Christi paid by Bobby New, and that's a bribe. Yes, it's broad, but like James Dixon over in IA said, that when it comes over to us, we'll get you to come in here with a couple of detectives so we can get this ironed out. Because one bad cop makes the entire agency look bad. We just want the process to go forward so we can stop this issue. Just like we had an issue last night out at J&J where a lady called 911 because state law says they don't have to sign their paperwork because of identity theft and the number of felons working in these facilities. Police officer gets out there, gets a little rude with a woman, and said, well, I'm not going to do anything. If you want your car, you got to sign their paperwork. What's a criminal offense making them sign the paperwork? But then again, when we got police officers in their mind that thinks they're above the law, telling the citizen they got to violate the law to get their car back, that is a serious problem. Just like when we had the auto return contract awarded last month, that contract was rigged from day one because of influence peddling by Bobby New, Larry Nelson, and Billy Davenport. And the police want to get up there and tell the council this is the best for Austin. It is not the best. Our citizens are getting taken advantage of left and right, and our police officers who are supposed to protect the public from crime look the other way. This thing's to cease. And that's the only reason I didn't have any other choice. Commander Fortune told me to file the complaint with the police monitor. We've already provided the information to the FBI on a public corruption probe. So how the police department going to investigate themselves for corruption when there's so many of them involved is hard for anybody to even imagine. Thank you.
Okay, do any of the panelists have any questions or any?
Who did you say you were representing?
I'm president of Texas Towing Compliance. We're a nonprofit. We've got 16 million subscribers. Our website translates in 40 languages. We have attorneys situated across the street across the state that represent victims in courts all across the state. And we do a lot of outreach with our organization. We've got about 15,000 members who consist of strike teams, which are retired members of law enforcement. They go out and conduct operations around the state with bait vehicles. We've documented the tow companies in Austin who are predatory, who are targeting our residents, just like J&J paying them property managers $5,000 a month to go in there and terrorize those residents. Just like we have a process we've had in place now for 15 years in Austin that you can call 311 and file an offense report for a record ordinance violation. There have been 4,000 reports filed and not one arrest. So the system is broken, and that's the reason I filed the complaint with the police monitor on the allegation of corruption.
Well, Mr. Johnson, thank you very much for coming and speaking to us. Margo, I don't.
Well, we just care what the process is. You know, I was told by Commander 11th over in the Region 3 that there's a process in place that when you file the complaint with the police monitor, that 10-day time period before it goes to IA. So it's been over 3 weeks now, and the longer we allow this to go on and get these bad apples out, the more our citizens get taken advantage of. You know, we got tourists that pump in millions of dollars in our economy, and they get robbed by these record drivers. They call the police won't tell them it's a civil matter. And in the statute, since day one, every violation has been mirrored by criminal versus civil.
Mr. Johnson, before we got to move, we have another person that signed up to speak. Before we move on, you filed a complaint with the police monitor. You've finished that process?
The process is still going on. We're having conversations about the level of specificity that we need from Mr. Johnson in order for the complaint to be processed. And
Okay.
we'll continue to have those conversations. You and I had one out here this evening. And
So I imagine once the
We're-
formal process has been completed, that there's a possibility you'll have another opportunity to come back.
Margo made a comment, it's broad. Well, APD has all the information in their database because every time Southside is requested on a collision rotation when somebody's going out of Canada to the coast and they get in a wreck on 35, how the hell they know about Southside unless police officers are out there telling them?
Well, we've got another person signed up. Thank you very much for coming in. I'm sure we'll be hearing from you and hearing about this case more in the future.
Thank you very much. Join Texas Towing Compliance because if you don't know your rights, you ain't got no rights.
The next person that signed up is Julian Reyes. And if you'll come up to the microphone, sir.